Okay, very good. We got Missouri taking on LSU, and for the first time since Nick Saban was on the sideline for LSU, somebody other than Les Miles will be on the sideline head coaching the LSU Tigers as they take on the other Tigers from Missouri. LSU as a 13-point pick in this game at home with Ed Orgeron on the sideline, Dave. We saw where Ed Orgeron, obviously, the last time we saw him as the head guy in the SEC, it was during a very down time for Ole Miss, led to his ouster. He did some really good things at USC as a coordinator. Then he got the head coaching gig for an interim status, and the players loved him. They played hard for him. They went 6-2 against a very quality schedule for Orgeron. He says that he's learned a ton since the last time he had a head coaching gig with USC, and he will do it much differently this time than he did with Ole Miss. And it'll be interesting to see how all that talent for LSU with the season seemingly lost responds down the stretch. And it starts with Missouri, Dave.
Yeah, and is this what the LSU team needs? As good as Les Miles was, do they just need a change? Is this the team we've been waiting for? They're a couple plays away, from being an undefeated team. They could get on a roll here. When, like you said, you mentioned with Ed Orgeron, how players responded to him at USC. He proved he can step in, in the same scenario and lead a team, to a winning streak at the end. I'm very interested in what Orgeron has said this week. He's talked about spreading things out more on offense. We've heard that before from LSU, but you have to think he's actually going to change something with less I formation stuff, more spread, to create some more mismatch opportunities, probably some more tempo too, and some short, quick passing game that's been lacking from the offense for a while. So Danny Etling is going to get the start, but Orgeron did say, if there's a problem there, he wouldn't have a problem throwing in Brandon Harris. So could that offense suit Brandon Harris more? That's I think something to look at if Etling does struggle. He didn't look too great last week, so what's going to be the issue there? But also, before the season would have started, who would have thought, going into this game, one of the best matchups to me early in this season is LSU's secondary versus Missouri's passing game. No one's really tried testing LSU in the passing game so far this year, especially Wisconsin and Auburn. Those type of offenses don't. We didn't see this coming from Missouri. So Missouri, and Drew Lock, he's been as hot as any quarterback in the country lately. 13 touchdown passes and over 1,200 yards in the last 3 games. So I'm really interested to see that matchup. Missouri's done it for, has thrown the ball well a couple weeks ago against Georgia with an SEC defense there. So, he did throw 3 picks in that game, but, Missouri can't run the ball right now. So it's going to be all on Drew Lock. I like the upset here. I like Missouri. I don't think LSU can just flip a switch and get everything they want. And the way Missouri's been playing, I like an upset here.
That's a bold pick, Dave. But, hey, Dave hit a couple of things on the head. Probably the most overlooked coordinator hire of the offseason was Josh Heupel to Missouri. That offense is clicking. They are averaging over 44 points a game. Now, having said that, 2 of those games, one of those games is Delaware State, and one of the other, and they had another. They had another weaker opponent. So some of that's the opponent. But 44 points a game. I think they put up 79 against Delaware State last week. Dave mentioned Drew Lock's numbers, over 1,500 yards. I think he's got 14 TDs for all 4 games. So their pass offense is clicking pretty well. They look pretty good against Georgia. Of course, they lost it there at the last. It's going to be interesting to see how LSU comes back and battles back. It's kind of hard. Ed Orgeron did say they were going to do more up-tempo offense. It's hard to install that because the more up-tempo you get, the more it becomes about timing and execution. And those offenses win games in the offseason through the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of snaps they put together in their offseason practice and that kind of stuff. So I do think this is going to be close. I think LSU is going to struggle to win this game, but I think their talent on defense is going to be enough to keep Drew Lock and that Josh Heupel-powered Missouri offense down. It's going to look more like the offense from the West Virginia game than it's going to look like the Delaware State game. I think LSU comes out, rallies, a big win for their former coach. Those kids love Les Miles on the LSU team, but it's going to be closer than most people expect. Missouri is not as bad as most people thought, but I think LSU just has more talent. I like LSU just by a little bit.
Yeah, guys, this one is really kind of there's a lot of storyline to this game that maybe some people aren't familiar with because it's beyond a lot of the age groups and things of that nature that maybe are watching this. And for those that aren't, there's a lot of history here. You got 38 years ago in the Liberty Bowl in 1978. These two teams met up, and it was the last time and only time they ever met up. And Missouri actually walked away with this. But what's interesting about that, in 1978, the now LSU's now offensive coordinator is Ensminger, I guess that's how you would pronounce his name. Steve Ensminger was actually the starting quarterback for LSU, and he is now going to be the offensive coordinator for LSU going into this game. So that being said, I think there's a lot of interesting storyline here with this one. Ed Orgeron, who sounds like the Cookie Monster to me when he's talking, he has really gotten these guys kind of fired up, and he's that kind of coach. We saw what he did at USC. He was able, I think, he kind of took them on a winning streak. Leva did mention the fact that this was kind of an audition for Orgeron, and he's back in his home state, Louisiana. So I think that he should. I think he's going to try to come out. He's going to have this team pumped up. But that being said, his current offensive coordinator, likes a lot of pro-style offense. So I expect to see some of that, maybe a little bit more up-tempo. But with the question of Fournette playing in this game, I still think kind of will regulate on how they approach it. Mike hit on something. This defense is going to come out, and they're going to come out fierce. I think they come out and they play hard, for Orgeron this week, not just for there's been a lot of change in attitude this week with Orgeron taking over. The players are really adjusting to it. Not only that, the media loves it because he's opening up practice a little bit for the media people. So that's been a little bit of a change. So I think things are changing a little bit and in a way that they like it. They've gotten some guys that'll be able to be pretty fierce on that defensive front. Valentine's a guy that's been really doing well for them. So I think, and Godshaw, of course, got cleared, so we think he'll be back for the game Saturday. So that should be big for them up front as well. So I look for this team defensively. That secondary that's full of NFL talent, caliber talent, to try to go up against this passing group will be an interesting matchup, like you said, David. And I think that's going to be kind of the key for LSU is how they come out, how do they play at this home game, and for once not having Les Miles on that sideline, how they react. And I feel like this is going to be a big one for LSU going forward. We'll get a real good feel for what this team is going to be like, going forward without Les, and maybe even have a little bit better of a picture of how they're going to perform for the rest of the season in the Western Division.
So while Chad went the historic route in bringing up the 1977 Independence Bowl, is that what that
78 Liberty Bowl. 78
Liberty Bowl.
Well done.
People have known me to have bowl games memorized since the beginning of time, but I don't remember that one. But I'm close. I got most of them. So I
got
what's
you,
that?
buddy. I got you, buddy.
You got me on that one. Liberty Bowl. The 82 Liberty Bowl was, of course, Bear Bryant's last game against Illinois, 21-15. Anyway, I digress. I'm going to throw a little bit more history at you because, of course, Mizzou, Chad got me scrambling because I thought, man, Mizzou joined the SEC in 2012. And, of course, we got the rotational basis of the scheduling with the other division, and you've got the common opponent. So they're a common opponent coming into the SEC, of course, was Texas A&M, and it's been switched the last 2 years to Arkansas. So I was thinking, who haven't they played? Not that they're playing LSU. Have they played everybody in the SEC Western Division? No. There's one team they haven't played that I'm sure is on the 2017 schedule. Anybody want to take a guess?
Alabama.
I would have to go with that.
Alabama in 2012.
Played them in a title game.
Then they played Ole Miss in 13. Then they played A&M in 14.
Hold on.
After playing them the 2 previous years. Then they played Mississippi State last year, and they're playing LSU this year. It's got to be Auburn.
Wow.
will be the last team to face the Missouri Tigers as a member of the SEC.